Without determined action, guided by dreams, the challenges of the world will overwhelm you. Hello, my name is Jiyoung Park. I've made it. I'm an interpreter, a translator, and an author. I even have some fans. They think I'm great. But I've got secrets. The people who have learned about me recently as a professional woman will not believe that a few years ago I was hiding in my room, avoiding people and society. I'd gotten divorced. They might not seem like a big deal to most people in the world. In Korea, it is still considered shameful. It is a kind of statistic that you don't want to be a part of. Before marriage, I was living a happy life. Good daughter, doing things that made my parents happy. So it was natural for me to marry someone my parents approved of, even though I was not ready to be a wife and daughter-in-law. So even I was okay with arranged marriage through marriage consulting company. My ex-husband had a good, stable job. He was a doctor. My parents were happy. However, he was a total stranger to me. I'm not ready to be a good wife. He was not ready to be a good husband. We were so different. He abused me verbally and physically. Until then, domestic violence was a thing that had nothing to do with me. Things like that only happened in the news or on TV. That's when I realized never say never. I put up with the abuse because I was really afraid to become a divorced woman in a society where the divorce is condemned. That was the first time I hit rock bottom. I never felt so hopeless, useless, and depressed in my life. I blamed my parents, I blamed myself, and I began avoiding everyone. I hated everyone around me. I hid in a cave for a couple of years, only listening to music and reading books. I couldn't sleep without taking sleeping pills. And for the first time, I could understand why people committed suicide. I thought I was a failure as a woman and a member of a society. Then one day, I was reading something the Oprah Winfrey had said. The biggest adventure you can ever take is to live the life of your dreams. She overcame the miserable tragedy she went through when she was little and became a reading woman. Her story was really comforting me, and something inside me began to talk. So I tried to listen to my inner voice instead of blaming everyone, including myself. What do I want to be? What excites me the most? What is my dream to be? The answer was to become an interpreter, I remembered seeing a woman who was interpreting an interview between actors and reporters at the film festival. Others looked at the actors, but for me, the interpreter was like a hero. She was like a Wonder Woman, solving every situation. My heart began to beat rapidly. So at the moment, I had found my dream job when I was a university student. However, living up to others' expectation, I had forgotten about my dream. But in the midst of desperation, I remembered the day and my dream. Suddenly, my eyes were filled with hurtful tears. But I didn't let this stop me. I took action. I started to find information on how to be an interpreter. It was not easy to find information. At first, it seemed to be an unreachable goal because I had never lived or studied abroad, and I had to compete with some incredible people. I spent almost 2 years preparing for the test, and I passed it. I will never forget the moment when I got the acceptance letter from the graduate school, because it was the first time I had accomplished something after my divorce. Graduate school was tough. Sometimes I passed out from exhaustion of studying, but I didn't need sleeping pills anymore. I successfully finished my school and have become an interpreter. As a professional interpreter, I work in a predominantly female-led field and have the choice of being a freelancer or an in-house interpreter. I felt like that the hero I had met years ago while I worked for the people from all walks of life. And I was able to experience a different world in my own country. Things were going well until when I felt a hard lump between my breast and armpit. I wasn't alarmed because I had been diagnosed with a benign tumor right before my divorce. But it seemed different this time. It was big, and I was right. I went to see a doctor, and my doctor cautioned me that it might be cancer. I had to get the emergency test to determine if it is cancer. At the hospital, I hit rock bottom again. There was nothing I could do except to pray. Why? I asked myself, were bad things happening to me? I had to wait 4 hours for the final result, but it felt like 4 days. Luckily, when the result came out, the doctor congratulated me. He said I would need an operation to get rid of the tumor, but it's not cancer. The ordeal gave me another opportunity to contemplate my life and listen to my inner voice again. It became another turning point of my life. What can make my life more meaningful and helpful to others? The answer was to write a book. as an interpreter, I felt that I didn't have credentials to be an author and write a book because I wasn't fully experienced. However, after my divorce and facing down my health issue, I wasn't going to let anything stop me. I took action again. I just started writing. After work, writing and writing. Writing 10 pages on some days and tearing my hair out on other days when the words escaped me. But in the end, I finished writing my book. One of my joyful moments comes when I get messages or emails from readers and my fans saying things like, "Your book motivated me to become an interpreter. It was my inner dream, but you inspired me to do it." I am still challenged every day. I'm constantly monitoring my health, and I'm struggling to be a better interpreter and translator and to find the right workplace. And sometimes I weep at night. I fear the stigma or prejudice against the divorced woman. However, I believe I can turn the challenges into another opportunities. And I can say you can also do it. Are you having difficulties? You can make them into your opportunities. Please have a dream. Just take action. Good things can happen. When we can live the life of our dreams, we can also inspire others to live their lives of their dreams. Thank you.